नमस्ते, प्रणाम। गीता ध्यान। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Arjuna. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudevasutam devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. So, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 5th Adhyaya Sannyasa Yoga, and today 19th Shloka, the verse number 19. Sri Krishna in the previous Shloka has told us how a brahmajnani, a pandita, one who has understood, one who has had the ultimate knowledge, and having enriched one's self with knowledge and humility. You see, it is not only knowledge. With knowledge, one might get into the tendency of arrogance and pride. But Sri Krishna says, Vinaya, that quality is equally important. That quality automatically comes into a person who is Atmajnani. Vinaya, humility, humbleness. That doesn't mean that the person, it creates inferiority complex in him or her. No. Humility is way above feeling oneself inferior. No. Humility is not feeling oneself inferior. Humility comes out of knowledge. Inferiority complex comes out of ignorance. But humility comes out of knowledge, and that's what Sri Krishna says. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Having enriched oneself with the knowledge and humility, that learned person, that enlightened soul, he starts seeing everybody. The Brahmana, Gavi, Hastini, Shuni, Cha Eva, Shvapake. The Brahmins, the cows, the elephants, the dogs, and even the lowliest of the human beings, the dog eaters for that matter. In fact, in other countries, even the higher, the progress people, they also eat dogs. That is not a taboo in those societies. That is a different case altogether. But in this particular context, the lowliest of the lowly human beings, the outcasts, the pariahs. For an enlightened soul, they are all same. Now, what happens when one gets this kind of richness of knowledge of seeing everybody with the same sight? Sri Krishna is going to tell us in the 19th Shloka now that ihaiva tair jitaḥ sargo yeṣhāṁ sāmye sthitaṁ manaḥ nirdoṣhaṁ hi samaṁ brahma tasmād brahmaṇi sthitaḥ. Ihaiva tair jitaḥ sargaha. Ihaiva, here only. What happens here only? Ihaiva tair jitaḥ sargaha. Tair is them, those knowledgeable people. Jitaḥ, sargaha. They have conquered this creation. Here only, in this very world, they don't have to wait for death and going into heaven and all those things. Right now, right here, these enlightened souls, they conquer the creation. Jitaḥ sargaha yeṣhāṁ sāmye sthitaṁ manaḥ. Having established the mind in equality towards all beings. Verily they create a heaven right here on this earth. They don't have to wait for the last minute, last moment, die and then go to heaven. No, these enlightened souls, they create the heaven as if they control this entire creation here itself in this world. Then nirdoṣhaṁ hi samaṁ brahma. Nirdoṣhaṁ is one without any spots, one without any dosha, any lacunas, any negatives, any defects. Nirdoṣhaṁ, spotless. He samaṁ brahman, brahmaṇi te sthitaḥ. For them, it is Brahman is flawless. For these knowers of the truth, the Brahman is flawless, spotless, taintless, without any defects, defectless, nirdoṣhaṁ, and the same in all. Samaṁ, it is same. Therefore, what happens? Brahmaṇi tasmād, brahmaṇi sthitaḥ. Therefore, these people, they get established, they get merged, they get fixed in the Brahman itself. They don't wait for going to heaven to enjoy that blessedness, to enjoy that bliss, to enjoy that peace. For them, right here in this world, chaotic world for that matter, they find abundant peace, they find ultimate bliss having merged in the Brahman. Transitory existence is overcome even here by them. This transitory existence, this coming and going again and again, Sri Krishna is talking about it. The sargaha, he talks of creation. What is sargaha? The creation is coming, being, going. The creation, preservation, destruction, that is the law of creation. So when Krishna talks about sargaha, that he means to say is those who have conquered this transitoriness of coming and going. Transitory existence is conquered, is achieved even here itself, even here in this world by them. By whom? By those whose mind rests on equality, whose mind sāmye sthitāṁ manaḥ, whose mind is equipoised. For them there is no two, for them there is no high and low, there is no rich and poor, there is no virtue and sin. For them everything is Brahman. For them they have verily conquered this transitoriness. They have verily come out of the cycle of life and death. Right here in this very world. Brahman is flawless and the same in all. And therefore, they are established in Brahman. Since they have understood, they have realized their oneness with the Brahman. There is no duality, there is no dvaita. There is no Brahman, there is no cow, there is no elephant, there is no dog, there is no dog eater, shwapake, nothing is there to differentiate. It is all ekam sat. Under that situation, with that knowledge, with that humility, the Pandita, the Jnani gets established in the Brahman because he knows that Brahman is flawless. Brahman is without any defect. Brahman is without any qualities. There is no sattva, raja, tamas in Brahman. Brahman is beyond life and activity. Brahman is beyond delusion. Brahman is beyond. It is only when Brahman projects itself as Prakriti, when the Purusha and Prakriti differentiation happens, the Maya starts playing her game, the delusion starts playing her game, the illusion starts playing the game. And we get into this mold of me and you. On the one side is me and mine. On the other side, you and yours. And the fight starts, the quarrel starts, the unpleasantness starts. It is only with this. But when this me and you is gone, abolished, then what happens? There is only one and one thing. Objects appear distorted when seen through a heterogeneous glass. Yes, even in this particular transitory world, for that matter, the same object we can perceive through different ways. If we have a broken glass and we start looking at things through that broken glass, we all see them all, distorted. So we don't get the real picture at all. If that happens here itself, it happens with everything, even without that glass. We can see things in a distorted manner. We can perceive things in distorted manner with that limited intelligence, with those limited senses that we have. Our perception of the world is only through these senses. What else? And the senses, they can also play tricks on us. In some people, the sense of hearing may be very high. They may hear the faintest of the sound. And they may say, oh, I've heard this. Others may not hear it. And there start the conflict. How can you say you have heard that sound? We don't hear it. Or you don't have that capability to hear that frequency of sound. That people don't understand. So this kind of differentiation happens in this transitory world, otherwise also. A vibrant mind cognizes phenomenon outside, but a mind in equilibrium cognizes the noumenon and the thing in itself, which is Brahman. A small mind will always have this differentiation of the things. A child, when is born, can you imagine? That small, pretty little, cute-looking child, it has so much of a differentiation. The child only knows its mother. For the first few days, the child only knows its mother. Mother and child, that is the only relationship. As the child grows, then the differentiation happens. Then, okay, he is my father. These are my brothers. These are my people. And then again, as the child starts growing, then the real differentiation starts. Me and mine against you and yours, against they. All this kind of differentiation the child picks up as the child grows. And then one fine day, the grown-up child, in the form of a wonderful man or a wonderful woman, gets the realization, oh my God, all these days what I was thinking as diverse things, they're all one in reality. It is pure consciousness all along, and therefore there is no modification in that wrongly perceived world. That is what happens with the child. Initially it is all different, and then having got the realization, all the differentiation goes. then the changes such as increase, decrease, transformation, they do not take place in that sphere, that plane. All these differences, they vanish. Those who have gained equanimity of mind are able to cognize Brahman, and only then they can realize that all along I have been thinking me and mine is not that. It is only me and me everywhere. What is there in me is also there in them. That only one thing is prevailing in this entire creation, that knowledge comes after this, the Brahma Jnana. That realization comes after attaining this knowledge. Once obtained this intuition, once obtained this understanding becomes permanent. Then nobody can, brainwash that person. That what you are thinking is wrong, what you are thinking is not correct. Then nobody can, having understood, having realized oneself, this ultimate reality, then it becomes the permanent feature with him or with her. Then that cannot be changed. They that remain in Brahmavastha, or this cosmic consciousness, they transcend the transitory existence. For them, this entire creation becomes a play of Maya. Then they go beyond that, and they start looking at this happening here in this world like the child's play. You know how the children play? They are playing, say, there is in our Marathi, this thing, there is the children's typically, they play the game of Bhatukli, they create a household of their own. One child will be father, one child will be mother, then she will start cooking and all that thing. It all happens. It is just a game. Once the moment the game is over, they are all gone. That Bhatukli, that particular household which has been created, it all vanishes. The realized soul gets this understanding. Whatever is happening in this creation is all that play of the divine, play of that great enchantress, the Maya, the great illusionist. It is all that play. And then one starts looking at everything with the same sight. Now, on this particular context, Sri Ramakrishna has said that Maya is compared to snake in motion and Brahman to the same snake at rest. What is Maya? Maya is like snake in motion. We keep watching the snake, suck. That's how a snake, moves. So swiftly, so much of the activity going on. That is Maya. But Brahman, once the snake has had his stomach filled, that snake will just sleep like a log. It won't move at all, becomes totally inactive. And Sri Ramakrishna says the kinetic energy is Maya, and the potential energy is Brahman. The snake in that idle state, sleeping state, not doing anything, as if is totally inactive. That is Brahman. But what happens when Brahman thinks of creating havoc? Maya is born, the Prakriti is born, it's manifested. It is just a manifestation, and we take it for the real. So, that is the reality and the unreal existence of Brahman as Prakriti, as Maya, as illusion. And when we talk of this particular subject of seeing oneness in everything, I am always reminded of the last teaching of our beloved Ma, of our compassionate Ma, Holy Mother Sri Sarda Devi. Her last teaching was, learn to make the whole world your own. There is no one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. And that is the great Advaitic teaching that our Sri Ma has given to the humanity. No one is a stranger. We all are filled with the same consciousness. Why to differentiate between one person and another person? Why to differentiate between one being and another being, whether that being is a human being or an animal being or whatsoever being? Learn to make the whole world your own. No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. That's what Sri Ma has said. And that teaching of Sri Ma, totally Advaitic teaching, exactly fits in with this teaching of Sri Krishna in the 18th and the 19th shloka that we have read yesterday and today. So that was our reading of the 19th shloka of the Sannyas Yoga, the 5th adhyay of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ram Krishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swami.